The short film Adam reveals the post-apocalyptic world and tells us about the difficult situation between humans and robots, and the complexity of moral choices. The film begins with a vision, two mysterious silhouettes, walking on the horizon in the rays of light. It is a dream that the biorobot, hanging from the wires, is dreaming. He awakens, tears off all his connections and skin, and falls onto a mirrored surface. He marvels at his reflection, tries to peel off his face, obviously hoping it is a mask. He does not understand who he is, what has happened to him, where he is. Breathing heavily, he makes his way out of the room to the outside, where there are many similarly bewildered, uncertain robots, not knowing what to do or where to go. There are several men in uniform and with guns standing on a dais, pushing them along, shouting and firing at them. Suddenly, two silhouettes, the same ones from the vision, appear in the distance. At the sight of them, the guards jump from their seats and take cover inside the building. These two appear to be robots as well, but they look different from the others. One of them, who looks like a shaman, raises his palm up, and the android's chest screens become static and then go out. Looking around, they look at him and their surroundings in surprise. He unlocked them, set them free. They then follow the Liberator into the distance. At this point in the story, I think there is a reference to the Matrix, slaves to a system, some program, from which another has freed them. Only it's not the machines that control the people, it's the other way around. Their path stretched through the burning ruins. All around darkness, fire. One of the androids, judging by her voice, female, lags behind, emitting sparks of current and interference. She falls, and, unable to get up, stretches out her hand in a mute plea for help. Another robot tries to help her, but to no avail. But there is no stopping. The shaman robot touches her head, and she freezes. Apparently there was nothing to help her anymore. After a while they arrived at the shelter, where their leader, Needless, that's the name of the robot shaman, explains to them who they are and what happened to them. All of these robots, the Traptions, were once humans, living in a fortress city called the Consortium. And they were stripped of their bodies as punishment for various crimes. The only living thing left in them was their mind, their brain, but their memory had been erased. Only Mercalia, the android maiden in the hooded cloak, can read their remaining minds and say something about them, such as what someone in particular was convicted of. The Traption who had the dream at the beginning of the narrative turned out to be a political criminal who had committed acts of terrorism. What happens to biorobots people stripped of their bodies? They can wander around senselessly for a long time, until the battery runs out, or the mind suffocates. Be that as it may, Needless is opposed to such a situation. He chooses life, both for himself and for others. The next episode unfolds elsewhere, a certain dilapidated city in the desert with a segregated population, the Brotherhood of Refuseniks, and which also has its own leader. At the entrance to the settlement, we see a desperate girl, Marion, waiting, bowed down, to be accepted. She is dressed in rags, wearing a helmet with oxygen tubes. The head, a man in a cassock and looking reverent, greets her kindly and leads her inside, telling her about the abandonment of technologylessness and showing the civilians going about their business. Marion's phrase is worthy of special attention: they don't wear masks. God, they're saved. Sounds relevant to the present day. The girl tells him that the ventilation system in their town has broken down, and now many people are sick with infection. Her only brother Jacob had to steal medicine for her, for which he was eventually convicted. Left without medication, she grew worse and worse, so she decided to come here, having heard about the miracles of healing and the good life in this place. She looks at him hopefully. The man, picking up a stone, leisurely leads her to the tethered Traption, and urges the girl to swear her faith by killing the biorobot. Better to kill a man enslaved by a machine than to let him live and suffer. The robot raises its head, and says her name. The strapped Traption is her brother Jacob. Marion is at a loss, pain reflected in her eyes. The leader puts the stone in her hands, leaving her no choice. Despite her screams of rage, she kills Jacob nonetheless. The leader removes her helmet and runs his hands over her, making high-pitched speeches. The sores on her face heal. Assured that she is safe now, he leaves the bowed girl in tears, and leaves inside the sanctuary building. Out of sight, he frees himself of his clothes and skin. The leader of the Society Against Technology is himself, it turns out, a robot, aka Adam. There are undoubtedly biblical motifs in this, a healing savior determined to come to the aid of people. Or the self-important doomsayer? The first robot to take the side of humans. But, on the other hand, the robots in this film were also formerly human, and there is still a living mind in them. Is it right to kill them, even if they were criminals in human life? There is a lot to think about and ponder. An interesting, deep short film with philosophical overtones.